In this video, I'm going to be showing you the next steps you need to take in order to create your own Rohan Royal Guard helmet. In part 1, I showed you how to create the main structure of the helmet, and we are now going to build on that as we edge closer to the finished piece. By the end of part 2, your helmet should resemble something that looks like this. If you missed part 1, I urge you to go back and view it, as those steps are essential in order for us to progress. So what we're going to be doing first of all is creating some stencils of the eye patches, cheek patches, horse mohawk, and all the other main details for the helm. Grab your pencil and paper and begin drawing the designs. I began with the eyepieces as they would be difficult to get correct and to scale. You can draw the designs freehand like I have, or use whatever means necessary you have available. At this stage it is very much trial and error, but if you can gauge roughly the length and width, it will make the job a lot easier. Give it a go and see how you get on. For those of you wondering, the picture I used as the reference for this design, it is as follows. So that's the drawings done. Pretty happy about that. What I'll do now is cut those out so we can use them as a stencil. Enjoy. For cutting out the templates, we'll be using some cutting edge technology. Well, it's just a knife, sorry. If you are too young to be wielding a knife in this capacity, you can use a pair of scissors, which is more difficult, or grab an adult to do it for you. Having drawn around the newly created stencils onto the final material, it's now time to cut them out. To ensure you have got the correct amount of pieces for the build, you can pause and rewind this section to make sure you've got everything you need. We now endeavour to cut the templates out of the final material. It is essential that the cutting implement is of good quality to prevent any tearing. Now that everything's been cut out, it's time to put the thing together. With that, we'll be using some super glue, some baking soda, and some clips. You may be wondering why baking soda is a part of the required materials list. Well, mixing superglue or CA glue for the American contingent and baking soda can create a strong bond often used as a quick adhesive solution. When combined, the baking soda acts as an accelerant for the superglue, causing it to cure rapidly and create a hard, durable bond. Using clips or pegs in this situation makes life a lot easier, so you don't have to hold the piece in place whilst applying the glue and baking soda. Using the glue and baking soda in this fashion means we do not have to wait minutes for it to cure, as it is almost instant. Just don't swap your wife or girlfriend's lip balm with superglue, as it is likely she won't talk to you again. If you've stuck around this long, it's probably a good time to ask, if you think I've deserved it, drop a like and hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate the support. I pride myself on making the best possible creations from average materials from around the home, and this build is no different. Whether it is newspapers, scrap paper, pizza boxes, all destined for the recycle centre, all of which help keep costs low but still allow us to create something epic. The straight pieces of card you see on the left-hand side of the screen are introduced for the first time at this stage, as they did not require a template to create. If I could offer any advice to the newbie builders, please try not to stick your fingers to your helmet, as it could be very uncomfortable and awkward if you have to explain it to someone. And the same applies for all the pieces we need to stick down, as removing and repositioning them will be very tricky. If you observe and follow the steps in which I have applied each piece, you won't go far wrong, as I have found it to be the best way to create the helmet. If you have any tips or tricks for me, I'd love to read them in the comments below. We're back. Sorry about that. I should have really checked the battery level before recording. You haven't missed a lot. Here's what we've done. So at this stage of the build, this is what you should be aiming for. Take note of where all the pieces are and try your best to replicate it. Now it's time to apply the horse design made out of paper or card to the mohawk base. For the base that I will stick to the main helmet, I have used some offcuts from a sheet of underfloor heating insulation board, ideal because it is lightweight and can be easily shaped. You could also use some thick cardboard or double up some thinner stuff. Take your time with this process to ensure everything lines up perfectly. Now that the horse mohawk is complete, with the design stuck on both sides, we can now go ahead and stick it to the final piece. For that, I'll be using no more nails with a mixture of CA glue, super glue, and the baking soda again to speed up the curing process. Begin by applying a bead of grab adhesive to both the helm and the mohawk. If you've done everything correctly up until this point, you should just be able to line up the mohawk with the centre of the helmet and the centre of the eyepiece. Push down, ensuring a strong bond. Once it is firmly in place, remove any excess grab adhesive or apply more if required. Now allow it to fully cure so we don't knock it out of place. Adding a final bit of super glue to the bottom of the mohawk just to ensure it stays in place forever. If you require any help or pointers from part 2, let me know in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in part 3 for when we begin to add some detail to the helmet.